From consumer to creator, the ultimate act of economic defiance. You are not a person. You are a target. Your entire identity, your desires, your insecurities, your aspirations has been meticulously mapped, packaged, and sold right back to you. The modern economy does not want you to build, to fix, to understand, or to own. It demands one thing from you above all else, that you consume. This is the consumer identity, a cancerous behavior so deeply embedded in our physical psyche, we mistake it for citizenship. It is a metabolic dysfunction where our creative potential is systematically converted into passive consumption. The corporatocracy, this social tumor, cannot survive if we are self-reliant. It thrives only when we are dependent, when we see ourselves as empty vessels waiting to be filled by products and services we did not make and cannot repair. We treat this as a simple matter of personal finance or lifestyle choice, but that misses the profound power dynamic at play. What if the cure for this feeling of powerlessness is not better budget, but a fundamental identity shift? What if the cure is not a fight, but a fast? What if we simply stopped identifying as consumers and started remembering that we are, by our very nature, creators? So this is a cancer we're dealing with, metabolism of a cancer. And how this tumor feeds? Well, the metabolism is this cancer is a cycle of deliberate disempowerment. It doesn't just sell you a product, it sells you a story of your own inadequacy and sells you the temporary proprietary solution. The players here are the marketing and advertising complex. These are the cancer cells that constantly signal your lack. And then there's the big box retailers and e-commerce giants. This is the vascular system of the cancer that delivers the dopamine hit of consumption with terrifying efficiency. The culture of convenience. This is the part of the cancer that represents the hormone that paralyzes our creative muscles. So let's trace the life cycle of a single universal need, the need for nourishment, through this parasitic metabolism. First of all, there's the creation of lack, and this would be the mutation of the cancer. The system first convinces you that your ability to feed yourself is inadequate. With the barrage of advertising shows you gourmet meals, exotic ingredients, and complex kitchen gadgets. It frames cooking from scratch as a difficult, time-consuming chore which you are ill-equipped. Your simple, inherent ability to nourish yourself is pathologized as not enough. The offering of the solution, or the angiogenesis of the cancer, this tumor now creates its blood supply by offering the cure to the inadequacy it just manufactured. The solution is not skill sharing or simple recipes. It is a subscription meal kit, a pre-made gourmet dinner from a delivery app, or the latest single-use kitchen appliance. The transaction is clear. Surrender your time, your skill, and your money, and we will give you the illusion of nourishment without the power of creation. The cycle of dependency, or the metastasis phase of this cancer. Now you receive the meal kit. It was convenient, it required no thought, but you learned nothing. You built no lasting skill. Your kitchen is now filled with proprietary sauces and pre-portioned ingredients, making it harder to just cook a meal from scratch the next time. The system has successfully externalized your own capacity to feed yourself. It has extracted your money and, more importantly, your confidence. The cycle is complete. You are now a more efficient consumer and a less capable human. The tumor has been fed. This system of learned helplessness would collapse if we just refused to accept its central premise. Yet, we cling to our consumer identity and keep ourselves hostage by powerful psychological hooks. We are addicted to the short-term relief of outsourcing our problems. The mental load of figuring out what's for dinner, of fixing a broken shelf or mending a torn shirt is real. The promise of a one-click solution is a powerful narcotic. This addiction to convenience is a surrender of our own agency, a trade of long-term capability for short-term ease. We are paying with our sovereignty for a few minutes of saved time. This is the deep-seated terror the tumor instills. We are afraid we will be bad at it. We fear the failed loaf of bread, the wobbly repair chair, the garden that doesn't grow. The consumer culture glorifies seamless, professional end products and ruthlessly mocks amateur effort. This fear of looking foolish, of not being an instant expert, paralyzes us from even trying. The tumor convinces us it's better to be a flawless consumer than an imperfect creator. We have been sold the lie that specialization means we shouldn't do anything ourselves. Your time is better spent earning money to pay someone else. This is the ultimate illusion. It turns all life into a monetary transaction and makes you entirely dependent on the system's currency. It ignores the profound inefficiency of spending 40 hours a week at a job you dislike to earn the money to pay others to do the things that would bring you genuine satisfaction and self-reliance. We believe this dependency is efficient, unable to see that if the very mechanism of our containment. The treatment for this cancer is a deliberate and joyful withdrawal of our identity from the consumer label. We must starve the tumor of our passive consent and redirect that energy into the act of creation. This is our declaration of independence. Institute a personal rule for every need that arises. My first question will not be, where can I buy this? But how can I create, repair, or source this myself or within my community? This simple shift in questioning is revolutionary. It means spending a Saturday afternoon learning to fix a leaky faucet via an online tutorial instead of immediately calling a plumber. It means baking a loaf of bread, however imperfect, instead of buying one. This is not about becoming a survivalist. It's about reclaiming the fundamental human impulse to shape your world. We must change the language that reinforces our helplessness. We need to stop saying, I'm not handy, creative, or a cook, and start saying, I am developing the skill of building, creating, and cooking. We need to stop saying, I don't have to make that, and start saying, I am choosing to outsource this task for now. Stop calling a homemade meal just something I threw together. Call it an act of nourishment I provided for myself and my loved ones. This reframes your identity from a static consumer to a dynamic, learning creator. You are not what you buy, you are what you can make. The creative energy you withdraw from the corporate tumor must be invested in a new, collaborative immune system. Organize or join gatherings where you teach someone how to bake your famous bread that they teach you how to change the oil in your car. This builds a resilient network of shared capability that operates outside the monetary economy. Frequent makerspaces and tool libraries. These community hubs provide access to expensive tools and community of mentors, making large-scale creation possible without large-scale personal investment. Barter your creations. Trade your extra garden vegetables for your neighbor's homemade jam. Swap your carpentry skills for your friend's haircutting talent. This creates an economy of gratitude and mutual aid that corporatocracy cannot touch. The peaceful abandonment. As more of us undertake this shift in identity, the consumer tumor will begin to starve. Its growth, predicated on our passivity, will stall. It will thrash and writhe. We will see the rise of do-it-yourself kits that are just assembly by numbers, or apps that promise to connect you to a creator community for a monthly fee. Recognize this for what it is. the tumors attempt to co-opt the cure, but true creation cannot be packaged. As we walk away, we leave behind an economy dependent on our inadequacy, and we build a world rooted in our demonstrated capability. The consumer identity is a spiritual cancer that has metastasized into our economic behavior. Our prescribed, suggested dry fast from this system, the withdrawal of our identity from the consumer label, is the metabolic reset. It attacks the disease at the level of self-perception. There will be healing crisis. The tumor will not release its grip easily. It will scream at us from every screen, trying to re-trigger our insecurities and glorify passive consumption. But this crisis is a sign that treatment is working. On the other side of this withdrawal is now more work, but profound liberation. Just imagine a world where our sense of self-worth is derived from what you can build and share, not from what you own. A world where your economic activity is a conversation of skills and gifts with your community, not a one-way extraction of your label to distant corporation. This is the natural harmony that awaits. The identity of the consumer, starved of our belief, will naturally phase out, and the identity of the creator will re-emerge, just as the body, once it stops ingesting poison, can remember its own natural state of health.